relax. It's not the end of the world. I know that there are a lot of literal pressures, but also pressures that aren't actually as strong as they feel.
Mm-hmm.
The world will keep spinning. Your life moves on.
You are now tuning in to the Roughnecks podcast with your host, Cole Nixon. Much love.
To you guys about Desert Fox Golf. I have recently teamed up with them and they have some awesome products, including the phone caddy. Their phone caddy is a golf attachment that holds your phone in a very convenient location for you while you are golfing. If you are like me and like to use a golf app while golfing, then this is just the thing for you. They also have a cigar attachment for you cigar smokers that allows you to set down your cigar while you take a shot. One of my favorite things that they offer is the comical swing aid tumblers that allows you to hold 17 ounces of your favorite drink while you play around a golf. Christmas is approaching, and this is the best time to purchase your loved ones some new golf accessories. They are currently running a deal on their website for the whole holiday season where the tumblers are $20 each, and you can still use the promo code HOLIDAY25 and get your second tumbler for just $15. Don't miss out on this deal. Head over to desertfoxgolf.com and make your purchase today. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Roughnecks podcast. This is episode 133, and we have had nothing but technical difficulties lately. I have been struggling. Soundboard broken. Sorry, this is a couple days late, but soundboard broke, so I had to order a new one, and ordering things right now, you can only get it so fast with Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all of that, the holidays and everything just kind of slowed down the delivery process, but we got a new soundboard. We have a new studio set up, which I will be posting soon, but new studio set up, just a lot of new things. But joining me today is someone that I had to re-record with because of my soundboard technical difficulties, apparently. But Jacob Alexander, welcome to the Roughnecks podcast.
Thank you. It's nice to be back.
Yeah, we had to literally just now we recorded and then it was messed up and now we're back. Hopefully it stays that way. If this is messed up, I might just give up on podcasting. But just to kick off the episode, I'll allow you to give kind of a background on who you are and what you do and kind of why you're here.
Yeah, so like you said, Jacob Alexander, born and raised in Granville, played basketball and soccer growing up there and went off to college, graduated right in the middle of 2022. Always fantastic time to graduate. And so moved back home, and I'm now working with my family in Newark. And we own a property that we're working on redeveloping called Newark Station.
Yeah, Newark Station. That's where we originally, connected. You guys have a volleyball league there, and I got asked to play by somebody. Bray actually asked me to play on their team in the summer league. Played in that, and then me and Sierra played on Wednesdays in the fall league, and then you asked me to play on Thursdays with your guys' team, and we connected, and that's how we kind of met each other. But that place has we talked a lot on the first time we recorded, but like how much like it's changed just since you guys have bought it and how much it's going to change even in the next year. Kind of just take us through why even the thought of purchasing it in the first place.
So the original thought was that it was 10 acres on Main Street, and you don't find that very often.
No.
And especially on top of that, the central building, built by the government. So built like a brick wall or brick truck, whatever the expression is. And so combining those two things, right as Newark kind of is beginning to turn a corner, was really the inspiration in looking at the property. And then once we got inside of it and realized kind of the possibilities within it, it all grew from there.
Yeah. It's a government building, like it was built by the government. Sorry. You kind of know a little bit more of the history on that. Kind of explain what that was.
So the original structure, the one that sits right on West Main Street, and which is why West Main Street is currently closed. It will be open very soon.
Hopefully.
I'll show you. I'll show you a photo right now.
Has it changed a lot? Oh, it has changed a lot.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah, the building's almost down, and Main Street will be open soon. But so that was the original structure on the property, and that was there because the canal ran through there. And so Simpson Soap Factory first occupied that, used the canal in their making of soap. That eventually turned into Ferris Tire and Rubber. The building was built on top of itself multiple times. And as the story goes, don't necessarily quote me on this, during World War II, when we lost the Pacific Islands, that was a major source for our raw rubber materials. And so Ferris earned a contract from the government to commission a 140,000 square foot building to test out a new rubber retreading and recycling technique. And then very quickly, we regained the Pacific Islands, and Ferris was taken over by Westinghouse. And then from there, it went from Westinghouse to a company called Midstate Warehouse, where you would eventually work for about a week. And then we bought it from there.
Yeah, there's just like so many mid-state warehouses. There's one literally right by our shop. There's one I know, and there's one in the Heath Industrial Park.
Yep.
There's one in the Hebron Industrial Park. They're
Yep.
all over the place. I don't even know exactly what they do, but I mean,
You'll see their trucks out on the highway a lot.
Yes.
if you're looking for them.
Yeah. So my brother-in-law actually started like a side business, and they rent a space in the Hebron mid-state warehouse, and they like.
Oh, that's where that is?
Where?
Your brother-in-law's thing?
Yeah, that boxing company.
Yeah,
I
didn't know that.
Yeah, they are eventually going to get their own like spot, but they haven't quite found a spot. And then like sometimes they need a bigger space, and then sometimes they're like, well, do we need this? I don't know. They're trying to figure that out. I'm not part of that, and I don't really want to be a part of that. But yeah, that's where they do a lot of things. But I mean, I remember we talked about it before, but you know that warehouse, like where the property you guys bought, I didn't have any work one winter, came home from college, and my brother-in-law hooked me up and was like, hey, I can get you work for like a couple weeks. And I was like, I mean, I'll take anything at this point. I didn't have any money, so I was trying to do what I could. And I cleaned out, it was right when you guys like bought it, or like it was going in the cut, whatever. And I cleaned out that warehouse, and that was miserable.
Yeah.
That basement that's what I cleaned out mostly, was just the basement. That took forever, where the boiler was and everything.
Yeah, and then we had to spend an additional week or two just.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Was all the scrap still there?
It's never ending.
Yeah,
we had to cut that forklift up and pull it out piece by piece.
Which the one in the basement? Yes. Yeah. They were like, well, we're leaving that here. And I'm like, I don't know anything about what I'm doing. I'm just here for a couple weeks. So yeah,
we had the lawn dots come in and cut that forklift up, and that was.
I bet that took forever.
It was quite a stressful couple days.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even
maybe not stressful.
When you think about it, how did that even get down there?
So that freight elevator.
Oh, that's right. There it was.
That one doesn't work.
Yeah.
The other one does.
Yeah.
But it's pretty terrifying.
I don't know.
I wouldn't go in there without your phone.
Yeah, it was definitely. It's crazy too. Like people don't realize the Newark, like how historical Newark is.
Yeah.
There's a lot of historical buildings, like historical bridges, like things that, like I believe even the Cherry Valley Bridge, I heard something, I think today, I don't know, like I said, don't quote me on it, but you know, it's like somewhat historical. So like they can't just like tear it out.
The one that's shut down
right there to get the like thornwood and everything.
Yeah, I don't know what the story is behind it, but I'm pretty sure you're right.
That's what I heard, and it's like, can we please just tear it down if it makes the process go faster? Because the traffic right out here on Main Street is god awful.
Yep.
I leave for work, and I usually, instead of like turning right on Main Street and then turning left on 30th, I believe I have my streets right, but you know, turning left and then going all the way down to 79, I will cut through, go straight across Main Street, go over by Circle K, and then pop out, because it's so much faster. Because if you're coming on 30th from Country Club, you will sit through like 4 light cycles.
Oh yeah.
It's bad. I tried one day, we were coming back from a job, and I was like I knew where I was at, so I was like, I'll try and go this way, I bet it's quicker. Nope, it wasn't. I got there 10 minutes after the guy, because I was right behind him, and I just he kept going he went one direction, I went another, and he was like, he calls me, he's like, "Where are you at?" And I'm like, "I'm still trying to get back to the shop. It took me a minute. There was 4 light cycles."
I was late to something this morning because of that stoplight.
I think especially like, and they just all of a sudden were like, "All right, it's closed."
Yeah.
Like there was no warning. I mean, people knew it was getting bad, but there was no warning that bridge was closing, and I didn't realize how much traffic went through there.
Yeah.
But if you're over on that side, like you have to go all the way like through town to get around to here. So I feel bad. Luckily, I don't go that direction very often, but
Well, like I said, Main Street, that is shut down currently because of us, not our fault, will be open soon.
yeah, it's getting there. Like we talked, and it's crazy. It is going to be crazy, like how much difference it'll make in the traffic by you guys, and how much that might even help your business.
Yeah, there was, we were aware right away once it happened. When you don't have the cross traffic
Mm-hmm.
and you have to explain to people, no, drive around the barrier.
Yeah, because I remember the first time I was going there for a game, and I saw the road closed sign, and I'm like following the directions, and I'm like,
Yeah.
But then it says open to Newark Station. I'm like, because I was like, I remember the warehouse. I was like, I remember going there. Like, I know this is the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, it definitely is like deceiving, because like you see a road closed sign, you obviously don't think, oh, I can just go around it.
Well, and especially because currently the yard where the volleyball courts are is the only entity of the business that's open. You'll get people driving by and they'll just see people playing volleyball and they'll pull in, be like, what's going on here? But
yeah, which you guys have the yard now, which we'll go into that first. Like, kind of explain what the yard is currently.
So currently it's 4 lit sand volleyball courts. We have a 40-foot shipping container that we've retrofitted into a kitchen, bar, and 2 bathrooms. And then we have a rather large pavilion that we didn't have last year. But I believe, off the top of my head, of course, I can't remember immediately. I believe it's 40 by 80. And underneath that, we have a 11-foot by 7-foot video board. So it's like
which is brand new, like
brand new,
very new.
Yeah.
You just put it up after summer, I believe, right?
Got it up, operating about an hour before the Ohio State Notre Dame game.
Yeah, just in time. And it took you did pretty much all that by yourself, didn't you?
Yeah, me and my dad.
And
But I didn't do all the wiring.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the guy who does the wiring, of course, showed up at like 5:15, and our contact, the guy at the company who we bought it from, of course, didn't answer his phone after 5.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to kind of
Yes.
Yep.
I mean, you just plug things in, and when it doesn't work, you try a different way.
Yeah. To an extent, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the yard it's awesome. I mean, like, especially for even if you're not going to play volleyball, or like you're not in a league or whatever, and like, because you guys have more than just volleyball at the yard too, because your dad does trivia night.
Yep.
And I don't know what all you guys kind of have going on through the week.
Trivia night. We always have cornhole, and it's called yard ball. It's essentially just big beer pong.
Yeah.
There's games on all the tables. Music's playing. We'll have live music on the weekends. We host a lot of high school class reunions and corporate events. So it's always a good place for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just kind of a big party.
Yeah, it's my buddy. I remember talking to him. I was like, "Yeah, I got volleyball." He's like, "What?" And I was like, "I play in a volleyball league." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "Just come and hang out. Like, they have a bar. You can sit there and drink." And he was like, "This makes me really want to join." And I'm like,
It's fun.
It really is. Like, I never thought, I thought it'd be like fun, and like I never thought I'd be like, I want to play again in the summer. I want to play again in the fall. I want to keep playing.
Yeah.
And it sucks now because I'm like, I looked forward. It took up, especially playing 2 nights a week. Sometimes I was like, man, because I feel bad for you. Were there every night. You didn't have any weekday evenings, but like, it did kind of suck at that sense, as like I'd get home, like especially with the podcast, there was times they're like, can you record a Wednesday? And I'm like, no. Thursday, no. Friday, yeah, we'll make it work.
I don't want to, but
yeah. And but it was awesome. Like, I looked forward to actually going and playing volleyball, and like it did become like, you got that being out of college sports for a couple of years now. It's like you almost feel like you're missing something when you get out of sports.
Yep.
And being in sports your whole life, especially, and then like when you're done, you're like, well, now what? And it gives you that kind of that competitiveness back, which is fun.
So, I do want to speak to that. I don't think that necessarily applies to everybody,
No,
but there's a lot of truth in what you just said.
there's also the different. It depends on the league you're playing in.
Well,
too.
that as well, but for people that did grow up playing sports semi-competitively or competitively, that moment I think happens to most people.
Yes.
Where one day you realize, oh, I'm not going to be bullshitting with
Mm-hmm.
14 people a day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah, it's awesome. I definitely recommend if you're in the area and you want to play sand volleyball. When does summer league usually start?
We open Memorial Day weekend,
Okay.
typically.
Okay.
So 2 years ago on our grand opening, that was the coldest Memorial Day weekend in 65 years.
That's the thing about Ohio. Like right now, like today was like 40 something and it's December, and sometimes, but tomorrow it could be 12 degrees and snowing. You just never know exactly what's going to happen. You might have, but that's the thing. Winter in Ohio has almost been like delayed, but then it like pushes into spring a little bit. So that kind of sucks, but
yeah,
it is what it is. It's Ohio.
There reaches a moment where you go outside and you see all that brown slush
Mhm.
and you're like,
like today just reminded me of like what is to come, because like how sloppy, like because like we just started a new job today, so that made it even worse. Like just you start and everything
so foggy.
Oh yeah,
So foggy.
yes. And it's such this change in temperature. Like at nights it's getting cold and then it'll freaking be 40 tomorrow. It is what it is. But yeah, I definitely recommend, if you were in the area, find some friends, create a team, start out on Wednesdays or Mondays and Wednesdays.
Hopefully Tuesdays next year too.
So yeah, you're thinking about changing kind of the layout design of it.
Possibly.
Because like right now it's what, Mondays and Wednesdays are kind of like the
beer league, recreational,
and then Tuesdays or just Thursdays
are competitive currently.
What was Tuesdays?
Tuesdays we were closed.
Oh, that's right, I knew that.
So,
and then Friday was like an open tournament, 4v4 tournament.
Friday's the pop-up 4v4 tournament,
which 4v4 I played once, like for fun. That sucks.
That's where you really get the workout.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not as good as the team you're playing against.
Yeah. I mean, there was times where we had to play 4 players, or just very few times. The one time we didn't have a person there, and then my sister-in-law like hurt herself. And so, like, we were playing 4 players, and we were fine, but I was like, this sucks. Like this, or no, that was the
Wednesday night championship.
Well, yeah, it was the championship.
Yeah.
And I get it.
It was also like 22 degrees outside.
Yes, it was better on Thursday, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it was still like 30.
Yeah, but I mean, I get to the point, it is the championship. You got to do what you got to do to win. But like, they started getting like cheap shots, and I was like, all right. Yeah. Like at this point, like I get it. It's championship, and we're the ones that only had 4 players. But it was like, this just sucks.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, but yeah. But you guys got the yard now, which also I want to say the shipping container into the bar. Whose idea was that? And because it's a genius idea.
So I will say this. That's the first shipping container in Licking County that is legally a building.
Really?
Which the building department did not want to happen.
Yeah,
so if you see some of the other ones, technically those are mobile. So every 40 days they have to be.
So that like aux fees. That's what I was just saying. I always realized they always change location.
So yeah, the kid I grew up with, he actually does the welding on them. So he welds 4 hydraulic pumps on each corner of it. And they lift it up, they back a trailer underneath it. And then sometimes they just drive it around the parking lot, take a photo to prove that they moved it, and then drop it back down.
I mean, technically you moved it.
Yeah, which that works.
Yes.
They'll accept it. But we were like, okay, that's not something that we don't have a parking lot to drive this around. So
and that'd just be a hassle to like, even if you did like to get you want to obviously fence it off. So then it'd just be more of a hassle than anything.
Yeah. So my dad used some of his previous connections to kind of, I don't want to say force their hand, but you can't not say it's a building.
You gotta know people.
Like,
once you know
structurally, if you see everything, you can't not say it's a building.
Yeah. And it's not like it's like a trash. Like it's not like it's like a mobile home, like literally a double wide sitting there. Like it's like part of a business, and it's like actually something that's nice. Yeah, that thing's awesome. Like it's just really cool to like. I really like that kind of stuff. So seeing like a bar or like a shipping container turn, like I like the shipping container homes that people are making. Those things are really cool, and seeing that in a bar is just. Like, I don't know, there's something about also like that type of metal and stuff that I really like.
And then just to give a shout out to it, the actual layout of the kitchen and bar was designed by Seth Stout.
That name sounds familiar.
They're Dresden family.
Yeah, it sounds familiar, but I may not know it.
There's a bunch of them. But he works with us very closely.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you guys also got like other big things coming in the future, some in the near future, correct?
Yeah, so construction will start very soon on 18 apartments within our building, and a cafe and lounge that'll be coffee bar by day, bar by night. And then, not to confuse anyone who would be familiar with it, the 3 acres to the west of the yard that you've probably seen some promotion for, called the Landing at Newark Station, they will have 110, give or take, units of their own. So they've kind of quasi started construction as well, more than we have, but they've got the earthworks crew out there every day.
Yeah, you guys also have that rooftop bar as well.
Yeah, phase 2 is the apartments and coffee bar. Phase 3 will be artisan space, so you can come in and kind of do whatever you want. That's lower finish, lower rent. I mean, hell, if you wanted to rent it out and put a TV in there and get away from your family, I guess you could. But it's more for makers and artists. And then as well, there will be higher finish office space on the second floor of the building, which is where the massive windows are that are awesome. And so that'll be higher finish, higher rate. It's not necessarily co-working space, but the goal is to kind of get young professionals from the Newark area in there occupying it. And along with that, because the building was built by the government, we'll be able to come in and lay brick on the concrete floors. And there will be about 10,000 square foot event space on the second floor as well. And then the last part of phase 3 will be up on the rooftop, the Lookout Tap Room, which will be an indoor-outdoor rooftop bar that's more, not necessarily a sports bar, but more your sports bar feel.
Yeah.
And that will sit on the northwest corner of the building, where Water Tower used to sit. And from up there, you can hear the announcers at White Field. You can watch the yard, and it'll just be a great atmosphere.
Yeah, it's because we talked, I think, last episode. There's actually like a building, like you go up on top of the roof, and there's like a whole nother like building for set.
We don't know why that structure exists, but
the only thing I could think is either like storage or like, is it an office type form, or is it more?
No, it's a 2,700 square foot rectangle.
Yeah.
That our best guess is engineers built the building and they put it up there as a mechanical room.
Yeah.
But the freight elevator opens right up to it, and then we'll put an exterior staircase along the front face of the building that I think will look really cool.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited for that.
A lot of things in the work. Like so in the next year, what can we expect? Like, what are the things that should be close to being done, or like on the way to being done, or done?
Coffee bar and apartments.
Okay. So yeah, and you said there's 18 apartments?
Yep, 18, and those run, if you're at the yard and you look at that western side of the building, you can actually see a different looking set of man doors, and that's the lower mezzanine and then the upper mezzanine, which are where the apartments are going, and that's where the actual offices were for the warehouse space. So almost everybody I've ever walked through that building at one point says something along the lines of this to me. Oh, my grandpa worked here for 17 years.
Yep. Sounds about right.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody knows somebody that worked there. Like if they're older, like they knew somebody older that worked at that warehouse.
Yep. Almost everybody I've ever walked through that building.
Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy what Newark was. I don't know what it used to look like. I don't know, like, you know, I know we've seen old pictures and stuff, so I feel like it used to be more of a cleaned up area. And then it, like, that side of Newark isn't too bad, There's definitely parts of Newark where it's like, oof, this is rough. But like Newark Station, I think, is helping with this. Is like, it's cleaning up and looking a lot better. It's like more of a, I don't want to call it a destination place, because like I don't think Newark's going to turn into anytime soon like the place where people are coming, like they have to come to Newark. But like people around here, around Central Ohio, I feel like it's more of a place that they are starting to want to come to.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I've heard it described by officials throughout the city as an industrious town that was left behind.
Mm-hmm.
And so they've been trying to, I don't know that I want to say this, but trying to catch back up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the people that they have in office or in the positions that they're in right now are doing a really good job at that.
It's getting there. Definitely making progress.
I mean, downtown now compared to downtown 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Almost unbelievable.
Yeah. Like I remember, I don't know. I feel like I remember as a kid, like going through downtown Newark. I remember even just when I got my speeding tickets when I was 16 and had to go to the Newark courthouse.
Yeah. The courthouse is beautiful too.
Yes. And like the courthouse lighting for Christmas and stuff, like that's, everybody in like the area knows about that and stuff. Like I've actually never been to it. I've always wanted to like go to like see it once, but
it's a good date idea for you and Sarah.
Yeah. We already went to some Christmas lights this year. I took her to, fun fact actually, if you're in the area, the ones they used to have in National Trails that are now at the Hartford Fairgrounds.
Oh, I didn't know they were there now.
They are, and it's, I forget how much. I think it was like $30, which it's $30 a car though. It's not per person.
Okay.
So like you could load your car up with like 7 people and go, but it was worth it. I mean, I enjoyed it. It has music that matches like with the lights and stuff. You just turn your radio to a certain station, but yeah, it's super cool if you're in the area and you need a date idea or just want to go with your family. That's definitely something to do. But I wanted to kind of talk about also like your role in all this, because we've talked about all this, but like kind of what do you do? Like what's your day to day with it and everything?
So when the yard is open, I'm kind of the all around manager of the yard. I'm there almost every day. I don't. Last year I literally was. This year, luckily, one of our employees stayed on for another year, and he does excellent work for us, and I cannot thank him enough. Ever. I always try to, but I don't think I make my point well enough. So he has helped me out a lot with that, but I order the beer, order the liquor.
Is that, I gotta ask, is that River?
Yeah.
I figured.
Yeah.
I will give a shout out to River, because River it was one of those, of course I was there, every week and then twice a week at some points. I'd go up and like he just would start pouring my beer and I'm like, yep, thanks. Appreciate that. But that makes you, that's one of the things too, like that makes you want to come back. That makes you want to be there.
Yeah. So River, and as well as all of my other employees, I cannot thank them enough. They have been extremely helpful for me this year and last year as well, but this year in particular. And then when the yard is closed, I'm kind of the grunt guy, to be honest, but I still will participate in and interact with all of the structural engineers, the electricians, the earthworks company, the city, the Downtown Newark Association. It's just sometimes in those moments I don't know what I'm talking about. So I'm just kind of sitting there taking notes.
So like that's the thing too, is because we talked in the last episode, so I'm going to bring it back up again. What did you major in college?
International business.
How has that helped you in this aspect of things?
Not that much.
Exactly. That's the thing. Like I'm not saying don't go to college or anything, but like what I'm saying is like the things you will learn in college, they might help, but
if I had gotten a job at a financial institution,
it would have helped a lot more.
Yeah.
But like the business in general, it's a whole different world, especially as like an entrepreneurial style of things, which is what I see this as. Because like your dad basically, like, yeah, he had the background, kind of knew what he was doing, but like you're still starting your own business and learning on the fly.
Yeah.
And you're always learning every single day. There's something new that's coming up and like you said, but that's the best way to do things sometimes, is like you said, you don't know what you're talking about, so you're just taking notes.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, you're paying attention. Eventually 2 years, 3, 4, however long down the line, you are going to know what you're talking about at these meetings or whatever.
I certainly hope so.
If not, you might want to reevaluate those notes.
No, and I think I said this last time. I don't know if you're familiar with, if you're heading west on 16 and you're at the new Thornwood,
Mm-hmm.
there's the Wendy's, and then catty corner to that, there's that new blue office building that kind of looks like a barn.
I probably haven't paid attention to it.
So we built that building as well, and for that and for the upcoming projects, I'm kind of a quasi like site manager. So there were moments where I would tell someone to go walk me over to it, point at it, and explain it to me like I'm 5.
Yeah, don't tell me that the breaker
Unistrut, yeah.
Just like show me, tell me what it is.
Walk me through it. I'm gonna ask some dumb questions. Please be respectful.
That's what I remember when I started doing the job that I have now, and they'd send me to like the truck and be like, "Hey, go grab X, Y, like this tool."
Yeah.
And I'd be like,
I got a pretty good idea, but
I don't know what. And I used to just walk back and grab something and then come back and they'd be like, no. And finally I was like, why am I making this harder? What is it?
yeah.
Like, and they'd be like, it's a red handled. I'm like, all right, now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
Or what I'd do too sometimes is I'd like look it up on my phone as I'm, what do you call that? Okay. Yep. All right.
Did I spell it right?
Yeah. But like, that's the thing is like, you're not going to know everything coming in, right? Being in general, really with anything unfamiliar to you, you're not going to know everything. Don't try and know everything.
Yeah.
Because if you try and know everything, that's where I feel like people get in trouble, get into situations where they, their boss will look at them and be like, what in the hell is this guy doing? But if you're asking questions or you're trying to learn, it makes the person that you're talking to like actually want to like teach you, want to learn, or want to show you things. What's up, everybody? I hope you guys are enjoying today's guest. I wanted to take a quick break and talk to you guys about how you can support the Roughnecks podcast. We recently had a merch drop with all new Roughnecks merchandise. There are new things available, such as a couple hunting shirts, some new hats, and even some new coffee cups. You can head over to roughneckspodcast.com to make your purchase. Christmas is coming soon, and there's nothing better to get your loved ones than some Roughnecks gear. Take yourself over to roughneckspodcast.com and use the discount code Christmas for 10% off your order. Let's get back to today's episode. If you could give one piece of advice to someone who is in this, like, the aspect of maybe not an entrepreneur themselves, but like kind of learning, or like, I don't know, it could basically, like, what is one piece of advice you could give if someone was in your role?
Well, first, it's not lost on me that not a lot of people can graduate college and end up in the situation that I am in.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah, I'm aware of that. I sometimes have to slap myself in the face, but I try my best to be aware of that as much as possible. My advice would be just like, listen. And not that I'm always the best at that, but there are moments where I've shut up and I've left a meeting and been like, wow, that really changed my outlook on a couple things.
Yeah, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Like, it is the most cliche thing, but in reality,
I know. Like, I felt terrible saying it, but
like sometimes we literally do have to just shut up and listen, and especially like when we don't know what's going on, we don't know exactly what we're talking about. Like, it's the best. That dog is going to die. It is like sometimes the best thing to do is just listen, ask questions when you need to. Like, the rest will start to take care of itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole point of a cat door is supposed to keep the dog out, but apparently our dog is small enough and has figured out how to maneuver his way through it. But
it's like they say in football, get skinny.
Yeah, they told me that, and I was like, listen, I'm only as skinny as I can get. But yeah,
I'm not LaShawn McCoy.
That we always had a guy who graduated a year before me. He blocked, I can't tell you how many field goals and extra points he blocked.
Oh yeah,
he was a tall, skinny defensive end, and he would literally, like, we just took our 2 biggest defensive linemen and put them on each side of him, and they just kind of like hit the guys, and then he'd just squeak through the little hole and just go block the kick.
Got those long arms.
Yep. Yeah, that's exactly. He actually reminds me of Drew, just a little bit taller and lankier. Which, yeah,
That's hard to imagine.
I know, but yeah, it's Newark Station is definitely a cool thing, and you guys got so many things. Which all the things that we talked about, I believe you guys can go over to the website if you're listening. And what is the website?
It's www.newark-station.com.
And you guys,
we should be the first Google search hit.
I mean, should be. But it'll also be in the episode description, show notes if you want to go just click it directly. But if you want to see kind of like, because you guys have like a visual of like kind of what it's supposed to look like in the future.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to see what that kind of looks like, go over there and check that out. But I want to kind of, we've already talked on it a little bit, but like how important is that real life experience versus like the things you learn in college? Like how important are those aspects in terms of business in general?
I don't necessarily know that I'm the best person to ask, just because what I studied is so not opposite, but isn't really
on the same like playing field. Like they're both business, but it's like a whole different type of business.
I'm not running like your 30-year mortgage on my calculator.
was that was that your plan going into college? Because obviously, like, did your dad always have this vision in mind, or was it because I think we briefly talked about it on the last time we recorded, but like, what was your kind of plan when you went into college and like post college versus what it actually turned into?
So I was pretty bright-eyed when I went into college. Imagine that. And this was all very circumstantial. So in January of 2020, my dad called me and we spoke for like 20 minutes, but the main point was that he was leaving his job. He had run a construction company for 30 years, give or take. And he just wanted to let me know that he was leaving, but everything was okay, and that he was going on vacation for a month. And I said, good for you.
Yeah, really good for you. I wish I could just go on vacation.
He went to Orlando and he just laid by the pool.
That's awesome. That I'm jealous of that. Like that is like I'm retiring, but I'm not retiring yet.
Yeah. So then in March, he calls me and he says, I think I might buy a warehouse in Newark. And I was like, Dad, you've been home for 3 weeks. So then, fast forward another couple months, he calls me and he asks if I'm having trouble finding a job, to which I probably exploded at him for unnecessarily. And he said, hey, I could use your help. And in the back of my mind, I was thinking, a warehouse in Newark.
What is this going to turn into?
So I move home and he takes me out and I'm like, what the hell? Could have used a heads up on this. This would have made this a little bit easier transition. So yeah, it was all pretty circumstantial. This was never really in his mind or eyesight, and it certainly wasn't in mine. But very fortunate that it happened.
Yeah, it's crazy how quick things can change sometimes, and like without warning, and like you don't really, and it's kind of funny, like like you get a phone call and this is happening, you get a phone call, this is happening, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay, I'm working now here. Like
and like now my dad is my boss.
Yeah,
and I can't separate the two.
That's like, because I mean I kind of had somewhat of a similar thing. I it obviously not quite the same, but like I went post college, that job search is like you look all over the place, and then you're like, I don't know about that. I'm not qualified for that. You might apply for a bunch of them, never get any callbacks, or you do get a callback, but then you don't get the second interview. Like whatever, things happen, and then like that job search after college, it's a scary thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I need to at least find work when I get home. Like I have to have some type of job, otherwise my parents might kill me. So I called my former boss and was like, hey, do you guys need another guy come this spring? And he was like, we could definitely use another guy. And he's like, and especially somebody that already knows like what they're like doing. And I was like, I'll come back. And he's like, we'll take you. And I was like, all right, cool. And then now fast forward is like, I'm a year and a half, 2 years out of college. I don't even know how long I've been on. 2021. That's when I graduated. So couple years, year and a half, whatever, I've been out, and I'm still working for him. And I had a lot of people like, "Are you sure this is what you want to do with your life? Or how long are you going to work for him forever?" Blah blah blah. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I might get offered a freaking job tomorrow that I can't pass down. Like, you never
Yeah.
know what's going to happen. But like, I don't regret it because it's something that has transformed my future into something completely different. Like the patio that I put out back, I would have never known exactly how. Like, I always had the idea.
Oh, I couldn't do that.
It's. Oh,
I have an idea of how
if
you
you'd have
did
asked
it.
me 6 months ago, I'd have been like, I do it, but I don't know how good the quality is gonna be.
Yeah.
You ask me today, I'm like, yeah, I can do it. I mean, just don't ask me to do a giant one. I'll do it. I can do small ones all day long. But it's like the things you learn no matter what. That's the thing too, is take every opportunity that you're given and try to learn from it, because you never know where it also might help you down the line. Like if I end up like, and that's the thing too with this type of stuff. Like I might get into marketing, so I might integrate the work I'm already in and my degree. So it may end up integrating. You never know the opportunities that might transform from the first opportunity or like the thing that you just did at the moment. But
And I know I've asked you this before, but you did study marketing?
I did study marketing
Okay,
in college. I changed my major like 6 times, not like officially. Only changed it once officially. I never officially changed my major because you don't have to declare
don't
until
have
the
to
end of your
declare.
sophomore
Yep.
year or something, and I hadn't declared up to that point yet. So but originally I went to school. I wanted to go into computer science. Realized computer programming is really, really hard.
Wish I could do it.
I do too.
Wish
I
I could
tried.
do it.
First class I took, I got a C plus. Second class I took, I got a C minus, and I was like, it might be time to find something else. So I ended up switching. I was going to do data analytics, and then because I've always liked numbers, I've always like statistical numbers and stuff like that in sports, and I thought this could eventually maybe get me into like the sports world with all that kind of stuff. And those classes got a little tougher as I kept going on, and like those and like certain classes, I failed one of the certain classes that I had to have, got a D in another, and I was like, just thinking long term here, this might not also be the right
I
option.
don't want to be here for 5-6 years.
Yes. So I ended up switching over to business marketing with a minor in data analytics. So I still have that data analytics background, but marketing was where I took a couple I needed like a filler credit, kind of like your gen ed classes, and
Yeah.
like there was a marketing class, and I really liked it. And then I had a couple other business classes that I already taken, and I was like, I'm just gonna go into business. Like I feel like it's something, I looked at it as it's something that I could almost not like secure a job, but it could help me get a job at a lot of different places. It doesn't narrow down my focus of what I can do.
That's pretty much the same story for me.
Yeah. It's that, and if you're going into college right now, if you're younger and you're listening and you're getting ready to go into college, do not be like, I don't know the word that I'm trying to find. Like, don't be scared or discouraged is the word I was looking for. Like when you go into college and you're like, this is really hard. This is not what I thought it was going to be. And you have to switch your major. I don't know what the number is, but I'm thinking like people switch their major average of like 2 or 3 times. So
yeah,
like,
you're 20 years old.
Yeah,
It'll
you
be
don't
alright.
know what you're doing yet. Trust me. Because like if you asked both of us at 20 years old if we thought we'd be doing what we're doing today, we'd have laughed at you probably and been like, yeah, okay. But
okay, bud.
yeah, Newark Station though, definitely an awesome place. Definitely a place to check out if you're in the area. A lot of cool things coming in the future. But yeah, I got a few final questions before we close off this podcast. My one question, and it's not as fun anymore because you know it's coming, but if you could go back in time and tell your 16-year-old self,
I'll put a
one
better
thing,
spin on it. Okay,
what
how
would it
about
be?
that?
Let's hear it now. Yeah, because last time you weren't even prepared for it at all.
No,
so.
that one caught me off guard. RELAX. Aaron Rodgers. Relax. It's not the end of the world. I know that there are a lot of literal pressures, but also pressures that aren't actually as strong as they feel.
Mm-hmm.
The world will keep spinning. Your life moves on.
Yeah.
Yes, it sucks sometimes.
It's really hard to tell a 16-year-old that
I know,
because like
and I wouldn't have taken it very well.
that's what I think. I always
and I
think
still
of
to this
that.
day wouldn't take it very well.
Yeah, like there's things at 16 that will not matter in 1 year
Yeah,
that we get so worked up about. I understand it. That's just like because those are our problems at the moment. Like
Yeah.
when we're that young, like those are our big
and they
problems.
feel gargantuan,
Yeah, because you haven't
and that's
experienced
real.
any
Yeah, and that's
real.
real.
Yeah,
But sometimes it's okay to cut yourself some slack.
wait till you're 24, 25, and you get your paycheck,
And
and then
somebody asks you to come onto their podcast.
yeah, that also might
I'm
happen. But no, like when you're 24, 25, whatever years old, and you get your paycheck, and then you look and you're like, I have $200 left after I just paid all my bills, and now what do I do? I still need groceries and gas.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the thing is like relax, you'll figure it out. You're gonna figure it out. Like
Yeah.
you're not. The world's not gonna end. Things might be hard, but you're
And
gonna.
they
figure it
might
out.
get harder.
Yes, they will. They will get harder. It always gets harder. It never seems to actually get easier. Like I remember asking my parents that one time, like, when does it get easier? And my dad looked at me and goes, it doesn't. And I was like, that doesn't make me feel better. He goes, it gets easier when you retire. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh.
Awesome.
He's like, things.
Yeah, and I know the irony of two 24-year-olds saying that.
Yeah, I know.
But I truly believe that.
I do too. I 100% believe it because I mean, just, and like, that's the thing with this podcast. I've had so many, and this is 133 episodes in. I've had a ton of people from, 18 years old up to like 50, 60 years old on this podcast. And like, just, and that's where I like.
How common is that answer?
It's fairly common, but it like is always said in a different way, which I kind of like because everything connects to everybody different ways.
Yeah.
So hearing it a bunch of different, like certain things connect to me. Like if you said something and then somebody else said the same thing, but in a different way, I might understand it better from that person just because of the fact that like certain things connect better in people's minds. So I really but I don't think the relax has always really been there because like everybody always says like, don't worry about these things and that kind of stuff. And it's like, but the relax is like, sometimes you just got to take a deep breath. Like things are hard.
That might be a better way to put it.
Just take a deep breath, relax. It'll be okay. But like it is, you're going to have these problems. You're going to face these, this hardship. You're going to get through it. And then you're going to learn from that experience. That's the thing that I always talk about on this podcast as well is like failure and these setbacks and whatever. Those aren't like failures in a way. They are learning experiences because like it can become a failure if you allow it to be a failure. That's the only time it's actually a failure.
Well put.
Yeah, we get a little motivation sometimes on here, which actually moves us into the best segment of the podcast, which is Motivation Monday, but it is Motivation Monday on a Wednesday because of my fault of getting episodes out late. Motivation Monday is the point in the episode where I allow the guests to give the Roughnecks listeners a little inspirational bump to set the tone for their week as they listen on Monday morning. So what do you got for Motivation Monday, Jacob?
So this is still coming out on Monday?
This will be out actually tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm releasing it tomorrow.
Let me get back in my Monday mind then. This is pretty much what I said last time, but let's get out there. Let's dominate the week. If you start strong, then you don't wake up on Wednesday in a panic, which I do too often. But yeah, like get out, get your shit done early, then be a weekend warrior.
Mm-hmm.
And then two things I would like to add. One, I definitely didn't record myself saying that Ohio State would rout Michigan. I had that one right all the way.
I did. I said it would be close in the first half, and then Ohio State would pull away, and it was quite the opposite.
And I agreed with that.
It was quite the opposite. Ohio State did keep it fairly good in the first half, and then
rolled over like a puppy.
Yes, and I really hope we don't see that in the college football play. I'm worried, but
yeah,
I do like that. I think it's a boost of confidence for even the players are looking at Instagram and seeing stuff on ESPN and stuff, and it's like, this is the toughest matchup for Georgia, like to get in the first four. Like this is probably the team they did not want to see. They'd have much rather saw USC guarantee it.
Oh yeah.
But it's going to be interesting. I don't like the people are like, oh, they snuck back in. I don't think they snuck back in. Because,
No, it was just circumstantial.
Yeah, I mean, they had an
USC
11-1 record.
Yeah, USC takes care of business there.
Yes, 100%. USC has 2
or
losses.
Alabama doesn't drop 2.
Yes.
Or Tennessee doesn't lose by 30 to
That's
Carolina.
the thing that killed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still do struggle, though, that Alabama's ranked above Tennessee, and Tennessee has the head-to-head win.
It's tough. The quarterback being hurt, I don't know. It's not my job.
I know.
I wouldn't want it to be my job.
I could not do the college football playoff
Oh,
thing.
me neither.
That'd be like, no, obviously, not only the top 4. No one looks at the rest of it, really. I mean, they looked at like the top
They like
10,
the top
maybe
6.
Yeah, top
Yeah.
6, maybe 7, depending on who's there and what the record is. But like, you don't look at the whole thing, but they have to literally go through. I don't know how long that's got to take. They literally have to go through everybody from 1 to 25, and like I couldn't do it.
Glad it's not my job.
Yep, good for them.
Second thing is I have to commend your Turd Ferguson Letits now
Got to do
decoration.
Got to do what you got to do. Hobby Lobby find. But yeah, that's yeah. Anyway, that's all we got for today's episode. Give you guys got social media, so give your socials out there.
At Newark Station on Instagram and just Newark Station on Facebook. No Twitter, no TikTok.
Why no TikTok?
We probably will soon.
I was gonna say, but then you gotta have somebody to like actually make the videos.
Yep.
So
And I hope it's not me.
yeah, that's the hard part is like finding like, because that's my thing is like I have all the and like I know how much it can help things like any business type thing, the podcast or even you guys, it can help, but like it takes so much time to do it right, to get good videos, because like you don't want to put crappy videos out.
Yeah, exactly.
And it just takes like I have a whole plan for the week and I haven't done any of it because it also takes just to post on Instagram for the podcast, like it takes me 10 minutes because I have to go through and make sure I have all my tags right, make sure all my graphics are right, make sure everything's good, and then I post it and my brother will text me like, hey, check your spelling, and I'm like, all right, I'll go look at it because I still end up misspelling something.
Yeah,
but it is what it is. Go follow them on socials. If you're in the area, come play volleyball. If you want to lose, I don't know. I haven't won a championship yet, so I can't really say that. Tierra actually won one in the summer, but come play some volleyball this summer, spring, whenever it opens for say. There's also a fall league. Definitely gonna have to get you back on here in the future. And like I said on the last episode, you guys should probably start a podcast. It'd be really cool. I know a guy that could set you guys up with everything. But definitely get you back on in the future. And until Friday, Fast Friday number 19, you guys know the deal. Life is hard and it's going to knock you down just like a bull does to a bull rider. Don't let that bull of life walk all over you. Get up, grab the bull by the horns, and take control of your life. Roughnecks, out. Thank you guys for tuning in to today's episode of the Roughnecks Podcast. If you liked today's episode, then please be sure to share it with a friend. You can follow the Roughnecks Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Roughnecks Podcast. Head over to roughneckspodcast.com and grab yourself some Roughnecks merch. Until next time, make sure you grab the bull by the horns and take control of your life. Roughnecks, out.